Hi, I'm Bernadette Wagner, and I'd like to welcome you to today's program of Healing, Hope, and Health. This program is dedicated to educating the public about Hospice of Washington County's mission, services, and programs, and celebrating the partnerships within the community that support its efforts. Some people are natural-born teachers, and no matter what else they do in their lives, the love of teaching others always comes through. So it is with our first guest, Chloe Grass. Chloe's been a registered nurse for 30 years and has worked in med-surg, maternity, intensive care, and public health. For the last 8 years, she has been with Hospice of Washington County and joins us today to talk about her role as an RN case manager. Chloe, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So you've done so many different things in your nursing career. Why did you decide, after all those experiences, to work for Hospice of Washington County?
Well, I think overall that a lot of my experience has been kind of very well-rounded, and this seems like a culmination of all those things that I have done. I have worked in maternity, there's the beginning of life, and now of course some hospitals where there's been ICUs and seen the technology side of hospital work and things like that. But I think when it boils down to it, we need to get back to the natural process of dying, and I enjoy being with people and working with those relationships at end of life. It's just been fun to see how all my work revolves into that.
So it sounds like you like participating in both the beginning and ending of life, the part that all of us share together.
Yes.
That's amazing. Chloe, can you tell us a little bit about your role as an RN case manager?
As a case manager, I would go out to the patient's home. That may be in a nursing home even. It could be in a home setting. It could be in an assisted living setting. So we address wherever that patient calls home. And I would be there 1 or 2 times a week, depending on what the needs are, sometimes more than that as we get closer to death. And I would work with a team of people, also a social worker, a chaplain, a nurse aide, maybe volunteer with hospice, and we all work together to help that patient have their best and most comfortable time possible, and then also educating family members in how to use maybe medications, how to take care of a patient in the bed. Maybe many times we haven't had to do that. And they are there with a patient 24/7, and so it's who the patient trusts. We would give them the tools to work with. And we're there as a resource. We're not necessarily the ones doing all the work, and because the families are there to do that. So that would be a lot of my job is educating family in that way.
And I know that you've told me in the past that the education piece is what you're most passionate about. Can you tell us a little bit of the sorts of resources that you provide for family members if they're interested in learning more?
Well, in a lot of settings, we would have some materials that we have in our office. We have booklets about what to expect at the end of life, how a person might slow down in their eating, what to expect in their communication with people. Another thing I might do is educate them on how to use medications. Many times it's a new thing for people to give certain types of medications. We all are used to taking pills, but then there might be something else that's how to dose somebody, how to keep them comfortable from nausea, how to take care of pain, how to tell how their breathing is and respiratory, many things like that. And we would have a booklet, binder that we call a confidence binder. But a lot of my job is instilling that confidence in somebody and how to feel comfortable taking care of their family member or a friend even. Sometimes we have friends taking care of friends. Some of the larger information might be articles and books that we have. There are some writers out there. David Kessler is one of them. He worked with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who wrote a lot of information on end of life and dying. There's a David Casseret out of University of Pennsylvania that has written a book recently, just came out, called Shocked, and it's that whole idea of bringing people back to life and that blurry line now between life and death.
That technology allows us to have. Mm-hmm.
Another person has written, a doctor has written, Robert Martinson is his name, and he's written on life, technology at end of life and how we decide what's important to us. One of my most favorite writers is Atul Gawande, and he's been out there recently because he wrote an article for the New York Times called The Best Possible Day. And I think he's got a short article in there about more the whole idea of how hospice cares for people having the best possible day. And he uses an example of his music teacher for his daughter who was sick, and she actually called him, they called him when she was in the hospital not doing so well, had some leukemia, things like that, and was at the point where the doctors had said, this is all we can offer you. And he tells a story of her calling him on a friend basis. He's a surgeon at Brigham and Women's, but he was there advising her as a friend, and didn't know what to do. And he said, one of our biggest problems is the fear kind of overtakes us and we don't know what else to do. We think that's it. And once we have knowledge and can kind of address what we want, have information, we can address our fears a lot better. We feel more in control. And that was one of her big things was loss of control. Another thing was, how did she want her last days to look? So he helped her decide to go ahead with hospice. Within a couple days, she was home with hospice. She had about 6 weeks to live, and one of her biggest goals was she loved to teach piano, and that's what she did for his daughter. And so she was able to teach students for at least 4 weeks of that 6 weeks she was alive, and she even had 2 concerts that she gave, and the children loved it. She felt like she was having her best possible day in that time. Hospice was in there helping her manage some symptoms. She had some pain that she had to deal with, some nausea, but she was able to pace herself and do those kinds of things to make life valuable for her, even to the last days.
So really, this article is about giving her the death experience that she had hoped to have, and to make that quality of life right up to that moment.
Exactly. And I think, it's nothing any of us wishes for, but I think sometimes our media has kind of skewed how we look at death. We think it happens in 5 seconds or a few minutes because of TV, but it's a process, and we want to be living up until that last minute. And I think that's what we have to offer as a hospice. And it's not about technology always. Technology can help us, but we don't want to lose sight of relationships and our enjoyment of life and what it is that brings us value.
Well, thank you, Chloe, for joining us today. Obviously, Chloe has a great deal of knowledge, and because she wants to ensure the highest quality of life for those with limited time, she has an incredible desire to pass it on. Chloe reminds us that dying is a normal part of living, and that it is one experience all people share. I don't know about you, but she's given me a lot to think about. If you have questions about Hospice of Washington County's philosophy or its services, please call 301-791-6360.
I'm the hometown favorite.
I'll outsmart you.
I will beat you.
I'll be surrounded by fans cheering me on.
There's no place like home for fighting cancer.
My turf.
My time.
My team.
Expert care, close to home. The John R. Marsh Cancer Center at Meritus Health.
Hi, I am Dr. Olenzak at the Pain and Spine Institute. I specialize in the most advanced procedures and technology available in pain management. At your visits and procedures, you will always see me for continuity of care. I would like to thank all of my patients for allowing me to provide you with the specialized care that you need. To give you this level of care requires a team. This is your team at the Pain and Spine Institute. To become a patient, call 301-739-7900 or go to painfree-md.com.
Welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health. It is my privilege to introduce our next guest, Mr. Tom Newcomer. Tom was raised in Smithsburg. After receiving his BA and MBA degrees from McDaniel and American University respectively, fortunately for Washington County, he moved back to the Hagerstown area. Once here, Tom proved to be a respected business leader and a man committed to serving others. He has served on the business community in many leadership positions, including chairman of both the Washington County Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Corporation. In addition, Tom has given generously of his time by serving on the boards of many nonprofit organizations, too numerous to mention. Tom is the owner and president of R. Bruce Carson Jewelers, the region's community jeweler since 1902. He joins us today on Healing, Hope, and Health to tell us about a special way he is combining his business acumen with his commitment to serving and supporting local nonprofit organizations right here in our community. Welcome, Tom. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Bernadette.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Carson's every year selects a charity to which it donates a portion of its proceeds from its annual open house. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that event and the charity you picked this year.
Sure will. It's interesting, our staff is very involved, and every year we like to look at how we can give back to the community. There's so many great worthy causes here in Washington County. This year we chose hospice, and in particular Dowie's House, because hospice really supports such a critical mission in our community. But also, I think Dowie's House and the implementation of that is something that's going to take that mission to a whole new level and be very valuable for people at a most critical time in their life.
Yeah, people, for those who don't know about Dowie's House, it will provide both respite care and quality end-of-life care right here in our community. No longer would people have to leave to go to another site. So
absolutely.
That's terrific. How long has Carson's had this tradition of supporting a charity during its open house?
Well, actually, it's something that we've instituted within the past, I would say, 10 years or so now. We've given in past in other ways, but it's one of those things that is just a way of looking at an open house, which is usually one of our busiest weekends, and saying, how can we make it more of a community event? How can we reach out and give? And as I said, our staff is really dedicated to being able to give back to the community. They all do in different ways individually, but it's nice as a business when we come together and be able to select an organization that we feel like is really a great organization to recognize.
So do they feel empowered to invite their friends and relatives to come to your event then?
Absolutely. We have a broad outreach. We do advertising, invitation, and so forth. And one of the nice things about the event is we'll take our gross sales and take a 5% off the top and donate that to that organization. I think it gives everybody the spirit, especially this time of year with Thanksgiving and the holidays in general, Christmas and otherwise. And it's a way of saying, we're thankful to be part of Washington County, but it's also a way for the staff, everybody to say, this is a way of us giving thanks back. So.
Well, we're definitely grateful to Carson's Jewelers, but I was wondering if you can tell us some of the other charity that you've given to in the past.
Sure. In past, we've given to the Community Free Clinic as an example. Sanmar Children's Home, which has been a really good thing. United Way, of course, which touches so many different agencies. Right. It's been kind of year by year we select and look at different organizations and say, what is it? But I think this year what struck the staff, I think particularly, is the value of Dowie's House, the importance of that. And as you said, with end-of-life alternatives, we really don't have that facility in Washington County. So this is a great opportunity. We're really excited about that initiative on hospice's part, and just excited to be a part of it.
That's great. Maybe for our viewing audience, you can tell us when your open house is and where you're located.
Okay. Our open house is Friday, December 5th and Saturday, December 6th. We're open on Friday from 10 until 7 and Saturday from 10 until 5. We'll have wonderful refreshments and beverages and so forth as well for anybody that just wants to come and wish us well or just be a part of it. We're located there on the north end of Hagerstown at the Shank Farm location right across from Long Meadow Shopping Center. So we really look forward to it.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your support of Hospice of Washington County and, in particular, Dowie's House.
Thank you.
Hospice of Washington County greatly appreciates Mr. Newcomer's generosity and the inspiration he provides for others interested in supporting Dowie's House. Not everybody can hold an open house to support Dowie's House, but Hospice of Washington County appreciates whatever you can do to help us help those with limited time. I'm reminded of something that John Wesley wrote. He said, quote, "Do all the good you can do by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can." We're grateful, and we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most. From the smallest item of jewelry to the largest ceramic elephant, every 10,000 Villages handcrafted product makes a remarkable journey.
All over the world, our products travel similar paths, over thousands of miles and years of artistic tradition. Our handcrafted gifts represent work that builds villages and sustains souls. They are the dream of a better life made real. Every product is a miracle.
Welcome back. It's a pleasure to welcome Kathy Campbell back to our show. She's a licensed clinical professional counselor and a certified grief counselor with 20 years of experience who periodically joins us on Healing, Hope, and Health to discuss the grieving process, hopeful coping strategies, and tips for those to help them with grieving. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you.
So Kathy, on a past show, you briefly had the opportunity to touch briefly on a few strategies. I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit more on some of the things you were talking about in terms of letting go of grief, letting go of it, or ignoring it, or moving forward and incorporating it.
Sure, and I'm glad that you brought that up because it's quite a balance, and it's knowing that both are absolutely appropriate. It can be very appropriate to what we say, put your grief on hold, to just to be able to get through a day, to be able to get through an event. You know, knowing that this is weighing on us so heavily, it can be helpful to set it aside and just get through and do what you have to do. That being said, though, it's also very important to be able to hold on to the memory, to be able to honor the memory at this difficult time. It's important to be able to communicate with other family members about how you want to pay honor to that memory. Do we want to do something very simple in terms of starting a meal together with a simple prayer? Do we want to light a candle in memory of our loved one? Do we want to make it much more elaborate and make it more of a focal point, the fact that we have this person missing from our lives right now? It's important to be able to communicate as a family so that the needs of everyone are being met as comfortably as possible.
Especially since even within a family, many people have different ways of grieving, and not all family members, even though they're grieving the same person, would have the same experience.
Sure, there are people who are just very comfortable feeling their feelings very strongly and putting it out there and holding on to the memory and cherishing that remembrance. We find a lot of healing takes place through remembrance, so it's a wonderful gift when they can do that. Not everyone is comfortable going that route, and that's okay too, but especially when it's a family coming together, just to be able to meet in the middle and talk about what we're going to do and how we are going to carry out the holiday can be extremely, extremely helpful.
So as a grief counselor, is that something you recommend families do prior to the holidays, get together and try to have a discussion about that?
Absolutely, because it's very important during these holidays to prioritize, knowing where your energy is and how it's been sapped, to be able to put that energy in moving forward. We can easily get quite overwhelmed thinking about the holidays, and I think just being able to prepare a little bit in advance by having those conversations, it really helps, and it's not everyone coming in unprepared and kind of dancing around the issue, trying to figure out what each other wants.
No elephant in the room.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, Kathy, I understand that the bereavement department at Hospice of Washington County has an interesting program that they're offering to help people remember their loved ones. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. This is something that we're very, very excited about, knowing the importance of remembrance. What we have developed, it's called our Tree of Remembrance. And we have a tree that is going to be located at our main office on Northern Avenue, as well as at each of our community life centers. And the Tree of Remembrance is just a large tree that is decorated with ornaments.
Do you want to show?
Sure. We have an ornament here. These are angel wing ornaments.
They're ceramic angel?
They are ceramic porcelain angel wing ornaments, and these will cover the entire tree. And we invite everyone from the community who is paying honor and to the memory of a loved one to come into one of those sites. And we have what we'll have placed at each area is a paper ornament, and we invite people to write the name of their loved one or a short message and hang this on our tree in place where they have placed this ornament, to take from our tree one of the angel wing ornaments home for their own tree as a way of feeling connected and remembering their loved one during the holidays.
And it also enables us as a community to remember all of those, because all of those names are hanging on the trees. So that's a beautiful, beautiful image. What a beautiful way to honor those in our community. Can you tell us how, again, just briefly, where these locations are so that our viewing audience knows exactly where they're going?
Sure. All people have to do is come to one of these sites during our business hours, and our main site is on Northern Avenue, and we also have our community life centers in Hancock and Center City, Hagerstown, and in our Boonesboro.
Great. And Kathy, I know that there's a couple other, briefly, can you tell us some other programs that are going on in the life centers?
Sure, we've got so much going on. It's very, very exciting. We have coming up in December a self-help group for veterans, facilitated by a veteran. So that's very exciting. We have coming up a workshop called Armchair Traveler, and this is an opportunity for community members to come in and share their journeys, share their traveling experiences with those who might not otherwise have those opportunities to share in the adventure, if you will, and share in the culture of some different places. We also have coming up a remembrance service for the community. So for anyone who has experienced a death, to be able to come to a service, especially at these times, to be able to celebrate that memory is a great...
That will be held at the Hagerstown location on December 12th.
It sure will.
Kathy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Grief is a part of life, but thanks to Hospice Washington County, you don't have to deal with it alone. If you or someone you know is grieving, please feel free to participate in the wonderful Tree of Remembrance activity. For more information about any of these programs, call 301-791-6360 or visit our website at hospiceofwc.org. Thanks. We'll be right back after this short break.
Arbors Carson Jewelers has been your community jeweler for over 110 years. We have the region's largest selection of diamonds, designer jewelry, including bridal, gold, and silver fashion jewelry, and fine Swiss timepieces. We strive to combine quality, expert personal attention, and affordable financing to create an exceptional shopping experience aimed at exceeding your expectations. At Carson's Jewelers, there's something for everyone that will bring a smile to that someone special in your life.
I'm the hometown favorite.
I'll outsmart you.
I will beat you.
I'll be surrounded by fans cheering me on.
There's no place like home for fighting cancer.
My turf.
My time.
My team.
Expert care, close to home. The John R. Marsh Cancer Center at Meritus Health.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run, because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
Our next guest is Morgan Gower, Development Assistant at Hospice of Washington County for the past year. She comes from a strong banking, retail, and customer service background, which makes her ideal for this position. One of Morgan's responsibilities is managing the Treasured Memories gift shop, located at Hospice of Washington County, 747 Northern Avenue address. Morgan, thank you for joining us for today's program.
Thanks for having me, Bernadette.
So what kind of items are offered at the Treasured Memories gift shop?
We have a variety of trademark hospice items, t-shirts, mugs, note cards, and handmade baby booties.
Oh, that's terrific. And what do the proceeds from the gift shop go towards?
They all go towards our general fund, which supports our mission for hospice.
And did you bring us some of the items today?
I did bring some items today. For the holidays right now, we're featuring our ornaments. We have our remembrance ornaments, the Remembrance Rose for lost loved ones. We have the paw prints remembrance ornament for animals. We're also showcasing our hospice angels, and we have the star, the heart, and the butterfly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look really pretty. And then you also have some gift cards, I see, or note cards?
We do. We have a bereavement section as well. And our bereavement section has hope cards, and they are $8 at the gift. And they have little inspirational meanings, sayings on them. And then we also have the remembrance coin for lost loved ones. And it comes with a note card, and those are $3.
That's terrific. Thank you for bringing those items. Can you tell us a little bit about what the hours of operation are?
Yeah, we are currently opened Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and by appointment. So if someone sees something that they like and they won't make it in after 5, if they give us a call, we can try to accommodate.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about how many people come into the gift shop on a weekly basis?
It's a variety. I guess it depends week to week. Seasonally, we have, we'll have more of a crowd. So I would say maybe 5 to 10 outsiders, or if we have volunteers come in, people for appointments. And then we have a large chunk of our employees who purchase items as well.
Well, they're all so nice. Everybody wants them. So Morgan, can you tell us a little bit about the particular hope cards, what some of the sayings are?
Well, you know what, let's open them up and see. I think that they have warm your heart, feed your spirit, sustain your courage, and celebrate your successes.
So these are affirmations that support people who are grieving and hopefully feed their spirit and fill them with hope.
Correct.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I understand that you also have some T-shirts. Do they have hospice logos, or do they have sayings as well?
We do have trademark hospice T-shirts, short sleeve. We have a variety of colors, Kelly green, magenta, and then we do have a few quarter-length sleeve as well, and they range about $15 in price.
And do you also have sweatshirts?
We do. We have some hoodies and sweatshirts, $25 for the hoodies and $20 for the sweatshirt, and we have limited sizes in those, but we do have them available as well.
Well, that's great. Morgan, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so grateful that she was able to be here to tell us about the Treasured Memories gift shops and the many wonderful items that can be purchased there. It's nice to know that by purchasing a meaningful gift for someone you care about, you are also helping Hospice of Washoe County in its effort to care for every individual in our community. I hope you'll consider stopping by the Treasured Memories gift shop at 747 Northern Avenue. If you do, tell them Morgan and Bernadette sent you. Have a great day. See you next time for Healing, Hope, and Health.
Looking through the lens, I see you smiling there. I take a photograph. In my mind you'll never fade. A million winding roads. Who knows where we will go today or tomorrow. Never give up, and I'll never give up on you. It's a beautiful life if you never stop dreaming. I never stop dreaming with you. It's a beautiful, beautiful choices that we make every single day. There's chances that we take, and I will always take a chance with you. A million winding roads. Who knows where we will go today or tomorrow.